Saints win, big win. We're here to break it all down from the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio, coming to you live from the field at AT&T Stadium. A lot to get into today. Kind of unbelievable where they're at right now. It's kind of like watching a video game. We're going to have a ton of stuff to talk about. And this is another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. If you're in the market for a new car, check out my guy, Matt Bowers. He'll get you right with all of your car needs. And if you aren't signed up to our website, if you were signed up to it, you would get this show on Sunday night. You could watch it live or at your convenience Sunday morning or Monday morning on your commute. Whatever you want, it would be there, and you would have it a lot earlier. So if you aren't signed up yet, make sure you sign up to the website. You'll get all of our news, our analysis, extra podcasts, all of that, so much more. So check that out, NewOrleans.Football/subscribe. Use the code SOBACK. Save 20% off your first payment. We're going to get into that breakdown and so much more after this quick word from our sponsors. For the members, you're just going to get the intro song, and we'll be right back in about 30 seconds. Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute is a regional leader in orthopedic and sports medicine innovation and treatment, caring for both our active community and the New Orleans Saints. To learn more, visit ochsner.org/sportsmed. Long live you. The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. NewOrleans.Football is proudly sponsored by Urban South Brewery, the makers of Paradise Park Lager. I love supporting local breweries, and when looking for a refreshing, easy drinking beer, I always recommend Paradise Park. In fact, I think it might be the best game day beer out there. If you want something a little lighter, try Paradise Light. It's everything I love about Paradise Park with just 96 calories and 2.6 carbs. And if you're looking for a family-friendly place to watch the game, I'd recommend Urban South's Tap Room in the Lower Garden District. They've got 15 TVs, 30 unique beers on tap, and mouth-watering urban smash burgers. The whole family will want to make Urban South their new living room, because at Urban South, they take laid back seriously. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. Their agents are born and raised in the area and understand our community's unique needs and the homeowners insurance crisis our residents are currently in. At Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. They know your time is valuable, which is why they work diligently to provide you with the quotes as soon as possible. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. When we couldn't find someone to insure our house because of the big oak tree growing over top, Chabert worked until they found someone that would work with us and give us the protection that we need to feel safe in our new home. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chabert. That's 504-326-6526. Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Punch Tool Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Punch Tool strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. All right, let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio here at AT&T Stadium, where we are breaking down the Saints' win over the Dallas Cowboys. He's Brandon Thomas. He's Mike Triplett. I'm Nick Underhill. If you are not signed up to NewOrleans.Football, you can get an ad-reduced version of this podcast, extra podcasts, all of our news, our analysis, and so much more. Use the code SOBACK to save 20% off your first payment.
Let's get into our first segment, guys, presented by Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They've done it again, and this time against a real opponent. Do you believe in the Saints now after this other big win?
How can you not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's no doubt at this point. Like, we know their offense is good. We know their offense is going to score points. We know they're explosive. We know they can run the ball. We know they can beat a good team now, and that's kind of been one of the issues the last couple of years. There's no doubt in my mind this team's the real deal. I think you judge them against the best in the NFC at this point. They got a good defense. They got a good offense. They got usually good special teams with an extra point today. I really haven't seen the punter really in
even though
situations.
He might be in my 3-up today because his one punt was a 49-yard directional punt that went out of bounds today.
Yeah, I mean, they look great across the board. I don't know what else we need to see at this point. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable. I mean, it's kind of like we're breaking down somebody on Twitch, like streaming Madden, the way they're just beating up on these teams. Kind of feels like they're playing on rookie mode a little bit, especially in the first half of these games. It is crazy right now.
It really is, and like, look, there's bound to be worse days. I don't know if it's possible this team could suddenly be 2-2 or 3-3, and we're like, oh, okay, we got too high early. It's hard to picture that being possible right now. There's going to be worse days when they're not leading. Like you said, that's the formula. Be leading. Be ahead of the chains. I think the worst they had to face all day was like 2nd and 7. You know, there was no 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 13s. Derek Carr's not getting sacked. They're not having to play catch-up. But there is no way you can't believe in this offense. Like, it's the thing we had the most confidence in theory when we heard they were hiring Klint Kubiak. In theory, when we heard the way players all talked about it. In practice, when we saw them introduce it and put it out on the practice field. And now in games. It's a legitimate offense being run by legitimate coaches who are really good at it. So if they do face adversity, you're going to trust that they're going to have some solutions.
The team came in here 1-0, and a lot of people, they saw this game as a game to validate the win from last week. Now, granted, the Panthers, they showed today that there's still not much of anything, but the Saints, they really took advantage of that to go ahead and show what they have. And then they did it again today on top of a team with, like, legitimate star players. So the ability to come in here and show that it wasn't a fluke last week, show that this is the real deal. I talked to a player over the last week. He was telling me there's still more in the tank that they haven't shown yet. So it's very exciting times, man. Some people are saying 2009. It might be a little too early for that, but it's
definitely too early. To make them like a Super Bowl hopeful, but they beat a team that won 12 games last year. The Cowboys have won their last 16 regular season home games in this building. This is one of the hardest places to come into and win a football game in the NFL over the last 2 seasons. Packers got them in the playoffs, but regular season Cowboys are a little bit of a different animal. I mean, they were a top 5 scoring defense last year. They have star players on the edges. This is a good football team, and this is a good quality win. You know, I think if you're still doubting at this point, like, I think that's just a cynical point of view, honestly. I mean, this is a team that's going to win games. We saw a lot, I think, during the summer. We talked about the progress on the offense over the summer. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think, like, a lot of the negativity in the fan base tempered some of the analysis that was happening, like, around the board because, like, people just did not want to receive that information. And I think that kind of affected the way it was kind of viewed and got presented a little bit. And everything's, well, yeah, but. Like, no, they're good. They're a good team now. Like, we can toss all that out. And look, I think there was reason for some okay, maybe, like, don't get fooled by this. Like, be cautious about what you're saying, regardless of you know, kind of the climate. Like, we got fooled a little bit last year by it, but this is legit. I mean, this is legitimate. I expect them to be, you know, I'll set the bar right now. Like, I think if this team doesn't make the playoffs, like, I think that's a colossal disappointment at this point. They're 2-0. They've set the stage for it. They've beaten a good team. They're off to a good start. I mean, if you fall apart now after what we've seen, I mean, I think that's disappointing. Like, I think they've earned that respect.
Yeah, everything you just said would be true if they came in here and they scratched out a 23-20 win and lost the turnover battle and barely escaped with a win. They decimated this Cowboys team, and they kept proving it over and over again. Yeah. Oh, the Cowboys answered back, and it's like, all right, they're going to have to keep scoring. And they did 6 touchdowns on their first 6 possessions, and then the defense chimes in with the takeaways when they had to. CeeDee Lamb breaks 2 tackles and gets a 65-yard touchdown. He ended with, like, 90 yards total, and Marshawn wasn't even in the game. I mean, they just kept proving it again and again. There was nothing fluky about this win. You're right, and I think we all agreed this was probably the second hardest game on the entire schedule, or one of the 3 hardest games on the entire schedule. Monday night games at Kansas City and Green Bay to come. I mean, this does make them. I agree. It's a disappointment if they don't take this and become a playoff.
Let's talk about something you said right there. Like, how different was it, like, to watch a game where the defense had the door open just like a little bit in the first half, and it's like they'd score and then they give something up. It used to be when that would happen, it'd be like, oh my God,
it's over now.
The defense isn't going to shut the opponent out. Like they're gonna have to score points to win this game. Like there's no way they're winning it. Like there was a little bit of that, and then it was like, wait a minute, like they're just they can move the ball now, and it's crazy, man. It's just crazy that this is how good they are. I can't believe how good they are now.
And we said this going into the game. The scariest thing about the Saints prospects this season was the schedule. I thought they were going to start with a losing record and have to survive that negativity, get used to a new offense, play their best football down the stretch, and survive this first month. The first month is freaking Mardi Gras. So that concern is out the window. Look, you said, we tempered our enthusiasm for a number of reasons this summer, but one of them was the offensive line. We didn't know if that would derail everything else. And, man, if they pass these first two tests with flying colors, that 70-yard touchdown pass to Rashid Shaheed.
We'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah, I think we were both watching Trevor Penning at the beginning of that. He's holding up against Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence.
We'll break down the line in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, let's move on to our next segment presented by Urban South. Like, this Klint Kubiak system, is it the perfect system for Derek Carr? Because he seemed to have been thriving in here the last two games.
I thought he was looking at you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Derek Carr himself, admitted that, I used to like a different way. And, he has to readily admit, this is good for me. I had to recognize this is good for me. Dennis Allen said he thinks they're taking things off his plate. Play action has always been great for him. This is the same type of system, the Shanahan-Kubiak system, that has done wonders for all these quarterbacks around the league. Jordan Love, Tua, Brock Purdy. So it makes sense that it's doing well for him. But it's just he's playing with so much confidence, too. I mean, I think that's what's given him confidence. I think a successful run game is putting him in good situations. I think a successful play-action game has given him opportunities. But throwing 55 air yards on a 70-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed, having the confidence to make that throw, he is feeling himself right now. So, yes, it's the system putting him in good positions, but he's also feeling great. I mean, I wrote about him today. He worked really, really hard to achieve this. And even Alvin Kamara said he had 4 touchdowns today. He said, I'm happier for Derek than I am for myself because I know how hard he worked for this.
So 44 points. Man only had to complete 11 passes to get there. 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception, 125 QB rating. I mean, that's the perfect system for Derek Carr is one where he doesn't have to do everything himself, and that's beyond just having all the responsibility at the offensive line. If you don't have to count on him to throw you into every game, to make every play, I mean, I think that's great. Like less is more here. Like, and if you can do all this stuff with the run game, and then when he's throwing the ball, it's easier for him to make those passes. Next Gen Stats, they have a thing that's completion percentage over expected. On his play action, he was 6 of 9, 148 yards. His completion percentage over expected, 0%. Like the plays were just there for him to make them. Like they were easily schemed open plays. There was separation, there was distance. He was just able to deliver the pass. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Kubiak created the plays. He just hit the notes. Like, that's all you got to do. And if you can do that and you can make that the quarterback's job, any quarterback's job on any given day, they are going to shine. I mean, this is the perfect system for anybody that's willing to kind of humble themselves a little bit and just be part of it. And he's willing to do that. And there's going to be days where he's asked to be able to do more. And I kind of have the confidence that he's going to be able to execute on some of those days too. It doesn't always have to be 44 points, run on third down, all that stuff. I think, at times he'll be able to do it. But if it isn't on him every single time and he can go out and just make the plays he's literally supposed to make, and that's it, great. I mean, that's an amazing way to be able to win football games.
Yeah, look, when he struggled last year, we were talking about this upstairs, it was because it was 2nd and 10 and the run game was working, and then somebody would have a false start, and then it's 3rd and 13 and it's 3rd and 15, and he had to do too much. Like, when he is not facing, sort of ridiculous adversity that would be hard on any quarterback, he has looked really good. He finished last season so strong. He's starting. I mean, if you can put him in a good position which is, I think, why we had so much optimism about this offense. It was like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Just give him a fighting chance, and they have. He's back to being what we thought he was when he first arrived, which is on the cusp of a top 10 quarterback, somewhere in that 10 to 15 range or whatever. And those guys, you know, like we kept thinking he was like a Jared Goff type and give him a Lions offense or whatever. I think that's what we're seeing. I really do. It's a small sample size, but I do.
You do this all season? Like, people will talk about you in that top 10.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just so tired of the caveats, man. If he does it, just give it to him.
Yeah.
Not like, well, he is, because, like,
Right.
I don't give a damn what people think about, or like the public perception. Like, if he does it, give him his flowers. Like, if he does it, give him his flowers. We give the flowers to Purdy. Like, what's the difference? He's out there doing the same thing. We give the flowers to Goff now. He's out there running an offense the same way. If this man executes the offense like this all season long and he ends the year with 140 quarterback rating, which he won't, but that's what he's sitting on right now, just give him the flowers. Like, it doesn't have to be like he was amazing. We gave Matt Ryan his flowers the year with Shanahan. He got the MVP that year. Like, if the man does it and he executes it all year, just let him be a top 10 quarterback if that's what the number says he is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Let him rewrite his own story. If he's rewriting the story and adding pages with fire on it, let him do it. But you said he's feeling himself. You could really tell he's feeling himself, especially when he ran that one in himself. It wasn't even the generic, oh, come on, let's go. That man went full Michael Jackson.
Full Michael Jackson.
A little hit, a little he. I was surprised.
What do you like better, the Michael Jackson or the three last week?
The Michael Jackson, because it was unexpected. He said he's a dancer.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Now
I love that he's talking his shit a little bit. Like, people, I mean, he's taken so much. He's taken stuff from us. Like, we've been incredibly critical of the man. Like, when it's deserved, we'll criticize him. When it's not, you know, we'll give him his flowers. But I love that he's doing it. I love that there's some edge on it. Yeah. And, you know, he doesn't come out to the podium and tell everyone to shut up, but he's kind of telling everyone to shut up a little bit on the field, and I like it. Like, go out there and feel it. You're playing great right now. Have the confidence, have the swagger. Show people that. I love it.
That's right. That's real. Our next segment is presented by New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Sticking with the offense, this offensive line, man, there was a lot of questions coming into this season. They've shown in week one that they were pretty serious. Then you have questions this week with Fuaga maybe not playing, then him coming out and playing and still doing it. Are we believing in this offensive line? Are we buying into what we're seeing?
Yeah, I'm buying it. I'm going to pass it back to Mike. I cut him off before, but I didn't want to cook the topic before we got to it. You were cruising, man. I didn't want to give it away before we got to it.
Well, I was using it earlier as a counterpoint when you were saying that we thought we saw a really good offense and we're hesitant to believe it. But the offensive line was the reason why.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I did not see this coming. I cannot claim with any like realistic. I'd be lying if I said no. We saw this all summer, and no one wanted to believe me if I told. We hesitated at every turn because of this offensive line, and they haven't derailed things. And not only have they not derailed things, they're actually playing really well.
Yeah.
Like Nick's going to do his film study on this game, but they were good in the first game. Tali Fuaga was really good in the first game, and now he comes in with a back injury, and he was really good again. I mean, did you see Micah Parsons once in this game? Like,
no.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I thought that was a matchup they couldn't win today. I thought they could scheme around it, maybe quick throws, maybe run plays or whatever. But they were just cooking the Cowboys the whole game. I did not think that was a matchup this offense could win.
No, I mean,
did.
No, obviously, and I agree with that. Like, we were incredibly concerned by the offensive line. Probably me more than anybody sitting up here right now was probably more concerned about the offensive line than. You know, then probably maybe anybody watching the team. Like, I was extremely worried about them by the end of training camp because we weren't seeing it. The point I was making about like the tempered stuff is just kind of like Carr would have a great day, and it was just kind of like you'd say, or you'd add 47 caveats on it because people were just like they just did not want to receive that. Like, and we were writing about it and saying it honestly, like on the website, we'd come on the show or go on Twitter and just be like, I'm not going to let this one off today, you know. And every now and then you would, and then you get cooked for it, and it'd just be like, damn, all right, like. So it just kind of changed the way, you know. I just kind of withdrew on some of the stuff I was saying about the offense in public spaces and kind of keeping it on our website a little bit. I mean, that's just kind of where it was at, and it just wasn't. It was a crazy atmosphere this summer. Like like last place on that Hope-O-meter and everything. Like it was a crazy atmosphere. People weren't expecting this, but on the O-line, yeah, I didn't see. They had a sack. It was a fake ass sack. Like Carr was trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, steps out of bounds. like at the half yard behind the marker, so they get a sack for that.
The sack was actually a good play. Like Derek Carr had a couple guys he
should have
thrown it away. He could
have
thrown it, but would they lose 1 yard on the play?
Yeah, but they could have stopped the clock and saved some yardage.
But what I mean is it was smart for him not to try to throw it. Like he was on the run and he had a couple seconds to think about throwing in a window, and instead he just ran for as much as he could. So even the sack was not a bad play by him.
Yeah. So that was the only sack. I didn't see Penning or Fuaga give up a live pressure. I saw like maybe a couple beat by defenders, but nothing that like resulted in affecting Carr. We'll see it on replay. Like I thought they played a mostly clean game against Micah Parsons and Tank Lawrence. Now they were sending everything at Micah. Like there was a lot of tight end over there, a lot of chip in. There was one play early on. It was like within the first 6 or 7 plays. Like he got doubled by Foster and Juwan. Like they kind of ran like a motion at him, had the tight end pick him up and like clipped him a little bit there. Like they were throwing a lot of stuff at him as they should, and they should have been giving him a lot of help. I think that 16 passes. I had 9 play actions. Might be more on review, kind of trying to do that live and might have messed something up. But more than half the passes I play, so that's going to take stuff off them. I don't think they were in a lot of like third down drop back situations again. They were keeping them out of it. There was like a 3rd and 4 and they ran it, which again, smartest play you can make. Like they're trying to tee off on you. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pitch the ball to the outside and run where everybody's not. Like some of the stuff they're doing is just so. Like, why don't people ever do this? And then they're doing it. It's just kind of crazy right now.
To answer the question, do we believe in the offensive line? I believe that we don't have to.
I do.
But I also believe that we don't have to. This was my number one reason for optimism with this offense was Klint Kubiak and Rick Dennison and Andrew Janocko and John Benton. And I was like, these guys are really smart. They're not going to let this offensive derail. So if it is Fuaga and Penning and Lucas Patrick, who, by the way, had a fantastic block on Alvin's big touchdown today. He got into the second level and had the lead block in front of Alvin Kamara. So those guys are making plays. But these guys are also keeping them out of trouble with smart game planning, smart play calling, smart help. Like, they're not going to let the offensive line derail their offense. That I 100% believe now.
And that's what I was going to go to, seeing their ability to get down the field in the second level, run. We saw Penning do it last week, kicking him out the club. But then we saw – I asked Caesar after the game, I said, man, how fast do you think you were going? Man, I don't know. I was just going. I said, wait, but these defenders, wait, but is Alvin behind me? And I'm still going. And that's the type of things that, proves that you're a good offensive line. On Alvin, it was a 3rd and 3. Nicky will go into more deeper detail on this in your film review. And Fuaga – hurt as he is, getting to that second level, kicking Jordan Phillips out the club. Just like, it's incredible to see. It's incredible to see the offensive lineman just with that amount of speed, with the size that they carry, just be able to do that. And it's a lot of confidence. It's a huge confidence booster, I feel.
Here's the thing, I mean, there's going to be a game where they get their ass kicked. Like, and the O-line's going to give up a bunch. Like, it's gonna happen at some point. They're going to be in a game where there aren't favorable conditions and they aren't going to be able to hide everything, and it's going to come back to bite you. But I believe them in the sense that they're good enough that they can have success and win double-digit games behind this line. And, boy, that's unbelievable considering where it's coming from. I never thought we'd be saying that. Trevor Penning looks good. And, don't let that man get some confidence. I think you let him get some confidence, some of the issues go away, too.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it was in his head. And he's feeling good. I talked to him after the game. He said that he feels, he believes, he's believing in himself now. And he's been honest about his confidence issues. So that's a good thing. And, again, could be next week. Philly's a really good team. Philly might be the best team in the NFC. We're going to find out. They play the Falcons tomorrow night.
Yeah.
They were the best team in the league for 70% of the season last year, and then they fell apart. But look, the national acclaim is going to come this week. It's going to be loud. We'll see how they respond to it. I just got a text from my guy, Evan Silva. I don't know what's happening in the Houston game, but he said, Stroud's a gangster. He looks like a young Derek Carr. So, that's where people are at with the Saints. I think it's coming. It's going to be loud. Let's see how this team responds to it.
It was Jordan Lewis, the player I was referring to that Fuaga was kicking out was Jordan Lewis. But for our general listeners, we're going to hit a quick ad break. Be sure to stick around and check out our sponsors, man. We have a lot of great sponsors. But for those who are already subscribed to NewOrleans.Football, we're going to keep with the action.
Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana. They were founded in 1980 and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. And Total Maintenance wants to show some love to our NOF listeners. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. It will never increase. Total Maintenance has a tune-up special running this summer for $79, down from the normal price of $179. This is a one-time offer for one system only. They also offer a free diagnostic on second opinions on units deemed to be unrepairable, and they offer free estimates for replacements as well as commercial maintenance programs. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300, or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000. Martin Wine and Spirits is home to a selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and much, much more. They are family owned and operated since 1946 and specialize in wine, spirits, gourmet food, gift baskets, catering, and tasting events. They have many locations, so they're never too far away. You can check them out in Metairie, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Baton Rouge, or if it's more convenient, you can always shop online. Whether you're a wine novice or a seasoned collector, you'll enjoy the Martin Wine and Spirit experience.
Score big with kickoff combos at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Comes with fried shrimp and your choice of soft-shell crab traditional or our famous thin-fried catfish, all served with garlic herb fries, starting at only $10.99. Only at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
Saints score! Score big with Saints Score. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawings for cool Saints prize packages. Play Saints Score scratch-offs from the lottery.
All right, guys, it's the best time of year. Football's back. We're talking NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays, and the glorious grind of fantasy football lineups. This is where your inner GM comes alive. Setting the perfect fantasy roster, screaming at your TV, and making last-minute waiver moves that either make you a hero or the guy everyone ridicules in the group chat. But listen, while you're over here making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets left on the bench. Let's be honest, nobody wants to fumble their grooming routine. That's where Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in, acting as your all-in-one grooming playbook. From keeping things sharp down below with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to taking care of those rogue nose and ear hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0. This is the lineup that'll keep you looking and feeling like a champ on and off the field. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use the code New Orleans, that's one word, for 20% off and free shipping. Trust me, you'll be drafting the real MVP of grooming this season.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of stepping into your dream home. At Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union, we can help make that dream a reality with a team dedicated to you. When you partner with Jefferson Financial, you do so for the life of the loan. Having a single point of contact when questions arise is invaluable. Our experts are here to guide you every step of the way. There's no better time to invest in your future. Apply online at jeffersonfinancial.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktails. Wall-to-wall, state-of-the-art TVs mean you'll see every touchdown, Hail Mary, and big turnover in crystal clear HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino in Baton Rouge, where every moment is a win.
We're here at the Mobile Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Our next segment is presented by Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. 2 weeks in a row, this time with the 4 touchdowns to boot. Alvin Kamara is our Hardhide player of the game.
OPOY? Top of the list right now?
Yeah. I don't know why he wouldn't be.
I mean, 5 touchdowns through 2 games. And the fact that they are giving him touchdowns, that was a little bit of a thing with Taysom Hill. I mean, Derek Carr stole one today, but Alvin could get to 20 touchdowns the way things are going, the way he's featured in this offense. 20 touchdowns could get you OPOY.
I mean, if you're making a list right now, and it's way too early. It's only week 2 of the season.
Yeah.
A lot of I've seen 2-0 starts turn on people really quick, so it's way too early in the season. But if you're making a list right now, the best player on legitimately the best offense in the league, that's the guy that has to be at the top list. He's playing unbelievable. Turn back the clock.
Yeah.
Maybe the clock didn't even need turn back. Maybe just a person winded in it needed to be changed, and that was it. I think that's what we're seeing. The man looks incredible right now. He's playing in space. He's breaking tackles. He's making everything happen.
So energized.
He's happy.
So energized.
Like, him being happy is, I think, a great thing for this team. He's the heartbeat of the team, and when the heart's healthy, the body's healthy, and he's the heart of this team. I mean, he looks great right now.
That was a good line.
Real tough.
Also, Nick Underhill has had the great line for the last 3 years in a row that the Saints might have played Alvin out of the Hall of Fame by the way they've been using him, including Sean Payton's last year or two. Banging their head, running him into a brick wall in the middle of the offense was just a waste of his talents. They're back to playing him the way he should be played in this offense and springing him free. And so if he tacks on a couple more years like this, we're back to talking about where he matches up historically.
Man, 41 is dangerous. He was already dangerous coming into here, but even seeing him just run out there with you on that long one, I was like, man, Alvin really doesn't even start sprinting, but he's still fast. You know what I mean? He's still going. He's still that guy. And with this new Kubiak scheme, who knows what he can end up being towards this end of the season. It's incredible.
Real quick, while we're talking about playmakers and who's getting the touches on this, Taysom Hill obviously was taken to the hospital with a chest injury today, which is kind of scary. Dennis Allen said he thought it was precautionary. He did make it onto the team flight back home, so that's a good thing.
That's good. Our next segment is presented by Aaron Rose. It's going to be hard to do this one, but we got to go 3 up. That's the easy part. The hard part is going to be 3 down.
All right, so we're just doing one this time. I'm not rattling my whole list. We're going one by one on this.
Are we all going to end up with 3, or are we going to get to 9?
Well, like
total?
If someone takes one, just introduce a new person. We don't have to. We don't have to hit the same person.
It's easy to pick good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Alvin's one. Where he's grandfathered in. So going through the rest of the list, I got Derek Carr at the top of the list.
There you go.
Sure. How can you not? I mean, he did finish 11 of 16 with an interception, but he was 9 of 11 for almost all of his yards in the first half.
What else is up is that man's walkie-talkie. That is the loudest walkie-talkie I've ever heard in my life. I don't know if people can hear it, but
it has to be loud to get over the garbage trucks that have backed up. The Cowboys defense has backed up.
See, I didn't want to go there. But that's what's happening right now.
Rashid Shaheed, I'm going to go with.
Real?
It was really cool hearing Derek Carr explain. It was so funny. The Rashid Shaheed 50. What was last week's touchdown? 56, 57, whatever it was last week. Was really smart play design. They got the look they wanted. They had talked about it all week. This week, Derek Carr made it seem like, we got cloud coverage, so it's not going to be Shaheed on this play. Yeah. And then he said, I looked up. Oh, no, he beat that too, and he was behind them. And then he tracks it in the air. He said the guy's speed is just special. He said he never expected Shaheed to break open behind the defense against the coverage they got, but he did it anyway. And this guy is just a game changer, a legitimate NFL game changer.
I'm sure we're going to end up on the defense, but, I went with Chris Olave first up because even though he didn't have a score today, it was funny because he and I were in the locker room talking, and I said, Chris Olave, who can't make contested catches? Oh, no, legit. I said, Chris Olave, who can't make contested catches? He started smiling like, yeah. I said, Chris Olave, who can't get yak? He said, yeah, that's what they say.
There go all the takes about the offensive line right there.
Right there. Roll them out, dog. Roll them out. You know what I mean? So we're talking about this stuff, and I'm really like, Chris Olave, who can't block because he's too small, and he bowed up a little bit, and I'm like, dude, you legitimately taking all the questions that they've had about you the last 2 seasons, and basically you're throwing them out the window right now. So I'm up on Olave.
That's a good one.
All right, I got Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen on the list, yeah.
Didn't think he counted, but sure.
Big up on the list. I mean,
of course he counts.
He's gotten a
ton. We put coaches in down before.
Look, right now, 2 weeks into the season, I think you can make the argument that this is his best coach team in the NFL. And if everybody wants to give the credit to Klint Kubiak, great, go ahead. But DA hired him. He's running the operation.
Right.
He sets the tone of accountability. He got somebody on the other side of the ball that can meet his level of accountability on his side of the ball. Every detail mattered to him. Every detail now matters to the offense. Everybody's bought in. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job right now. Got to keep it going, but through 2 weeks of the season, give the man his flowers for having a great 2 games.
I'll put Klint Kubiak in my up because he's already like clinched that Sporting News or whoever gives out the assistant coach, the Pro Football Writers or whatever give the assistant coach of the year award. I think he's clinched it through 2 weeks already. But yeah, to your point about Dennis Allen, I'm not giving Dennis Allen all the credit for everything Klint Kubiak and his staff are doing, but this is the style, like, what is a Dennis Allen team? This is what he's always wanted his team to be. He wanted to run the ball, run play action, and play defense. And he's now freed up to – this is what he's always wanted his team to look like. And he had the wrong guy or the wrong scheme running that.
Yeah, you got to start with the wrong guy for sure.
Toss-up right here. For the number 2 spot, I got to go Demario Davis, man. Demario Davis.
He was flying.
You see that Lightning McQueen meme of the young card just coming and passing him up like, how's the view back there? Enjoy your time, old man. And Demario Davis is not getting caught up in none of that noise. He's out here stopping people in open field. He's not getting outran, really, in all honesty. He's out here and he's laying the smackdown whenever he hits people. I think the defense as a whole is doing it. I really thought those boys were feeling themselves today, flying around, getting it in.
I thought Kool-Aid played good, too. That'd just be my last one. I think Kool-Aid had a good game today.
Well, and speaking of cornerback, we said we didn't think the offensive line could win this matchup. I was worried about the cornerback matchup, more worried than you were. You pointed out that they've done well without Marshawn Lattimore in the past. I'm going to put Alontae Taylor in here because CeeDee Lamb has the 65-yard touchdown on the outside. He only had 3 other catches for a total of 25 other yards in this game. He spends a lot of time in the slot. Did nothing against Alontae. Alontae was hitting hard out there. Alontae passed another test today, a big one today.
All right, going to the down?
I got to do my last up. The safeties combined, give them shovels because they some grave diggers. They putting them under.
Yeah, they look good. Yeah. Yeah, they look good. I mean, Tyron was in the neighborhood on the 65
he
yard.
was.
But yeah, I mean, he looked good overall. I think he more than made up for that moment. Had a big hit on the sideline, interception. Yeah, he had a good game. Going to the down, I feel kind of weird about putting him on here because he had a big play. He had a pick.
Okay.
But I thought
he was going to be in mine.
Okay. He was on mine too, but it had a question mark.
Had 2 holdings, and then I had him for 3 catches for 116 yards. We'll see if all those hold up on him on the film review. But watching the game, that's what I marked him down for.
Yeah, look, I think Adebo's a good player, like I just said. On every other play for the rest of the game, CeeDee Lamb had 3 catches for 25 yards. But a lot of times if you miss the coverage and then miss the tackle on a 65-yard touchdown, that could be the whole game. Like, I think you predicted that the final score of this game might be 17-13 or something
Insane.
like that.
Terrible take.
If you lose 17-13 and you give up a 65-yard touchdown, that's the story of the entire game. And he also both of his defensive holding penalties came at really bad times when the Saints had him in like 3rd and long and it bailed them out. So it's totally fair to put him there. I'm going to put every receiver who's not Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. It was one of our concerns coming into this season that they haven't solved yet. How many total catches do you think there are by receivers on this team this season not named Olave and Shaheed?
I know Mason Tipton has 1.
That's it.
Yeah.
None today.
Cedric was hurt a little bit, though, huh?
They have not identified a 3rd receiver that they can throw the ball to yet. Still early, and they only needed 11 completions in this game to win it. So, but that's a down for me.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that.
Very hard to say. D.A. revealed that he wanted to play in this game, but and it's not really a negative. It's a positive because you realize that you can still do it without him on the field. But I have to put Lattimore in this category just for the sake of doing it because it's hard to find bad things in a win like what happened today. So I'll put Lattimore in there just because the Saints were able to come out here and do it with him being hurt and not playing.
There we go. Man. Hey, man,
he's coming back, bro. Every time I crank.
Man needs to get home. He shouldn't be waiting for us. So I'm with it. Gonna let that little putter go by and then keep this list going.
That's right.
It's like the airplanes flying over at Saints camp.
Real.
I feel weird about my whole list. I don't really like doing it. I mean, he got hurt, so I don't want to pick on Taysom, but I thought Taysom had a pretty iffy game until that point. Missed a couple blocks in the run game I saw. I thought he was kind of pretty ineffective. I think he dropped a pass at one point. Just didn't think he had a great game. I thought Cam had a quiet game, but I'm not really knocking anybody. Like, Adebo was really my only one.
They have him with a catch on his only target. I don't remember if he dropped a
that
pass,
little
but
like shuttle thing. Was he involved in that? I might be misremembering, but I
But
thought
it was quiet.
I thought he had he definitely missed some blocks. I thought it was a pretty.
He had 3 carries for 18 yards, but you'd like to see him be the hammer in a game like this when you're just trying to all of a sudden run out the clock.
I feel like the film review is going to be on Condor.
That's fair. We have to come up with 9 downs in
we don't have
this
to.
game.
Nobody has them. We ain't got them.
I had a Debo and I had the receivers armed when I was coming in. I went back and watched Hayball's punt because I was like, maybe I'll put him in there since he only had 1 punt. It was a fantastic punt.
Groupie missed an extra point.
Missed an extra point. Yeah, there you go.
They said over the loudspeaker that it was blocked. I don't know. I haven't rewatched it, but we'll see. Yeah, it was pulling teeth to even put Lattimore on this list. I have nobody else.
Well, I have another one. Juwan Johnson. He's the backup tight end behind Foster Moreau now in this offense, I feel like. I think they value the blocking of the tight ends.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that.
Well, in a game like this, too, with those two guys, like you definitely want more Foster than Juwan.
Yep. Now it's time for our Martin Wine and Spirits question of the day. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's so much more than just wine. Today's question is, what are the odds Kubiak sticks around for a while? I could see him getting sniped as a head coach.
We had 20 submissions for the Martin's question. I think 4 of them were, what do they do? What do they do when Klint Kubiak becomes a head coach? But look, it's 2 weeks into the season. You do not have to worry about that until January or February, and you hope you have to worry about that. But yeah, this is why we said somebody like Klint Kubiak should want this job. He's going to get all the credit for everything this offense does, and he's going to deserve it. He will absolutely be a head coaching candidate. That is not a fan hot take.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if he does that and he gets that, you can go get the next hot shot. It's so much easier. Like, it's a revamped situation. You see success. There's a foundation laid. You aren't coming in on ground zero. You can go get another Kubiak. There's another one in San Francisco if he leaves. Andrew Janoko is a Kubiak disciple and seems like somebody that's going to be an OC pretty soon. Yeah. Or you can just go look anywhere. But, like, if you're a team that has success and it's set up, like, it is much easier to go get the next person than to get the first person. And that was kind of the issue of why they kind of got stuck in the spot they were after the first season with DA. The second season, there really wasn't great options. Every year there's 17 people getting hired as an OC, 15 people. It's a big number every year. But once that it's easier to sell a renovated house than a house that needs to be renovated. And if he renovates this house, I mean, I think the options are much more open.
New floor.
Yep.
Fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
Updated appliances.
I mean, he's more than that. This is a gut job right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking good. That'll do it for this episode of NewOrleans.Football. We appreciate y'all for stopping in. For those who are already subscribed, stick around because we have overtime next. And for those who aren't subscribed, I'm back with it. What are you doing? The Saints are 2-0. Join NewOrleans.Football to see all the coverage wall to wall. Check you next time.